you insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
Not at all. I have served with President Biden for almost 4 years now, and I'll tell you, it's one of the greatest honors of my career. And I have spent hours upon hours with him, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. He has the intelligence, the commitment, and the judgment.
VP Kamala Harris insisting she didn't think the president's age was an issue during her first sit-down interview as presidential nominee. But columnists for the Washington Post argue the VP should have been pushed harder on the issue of Biden's age and cognitive decline. Let's bring in Joe Concha, Fox News contributor. I mean, she should have been pushed harder on a lot of things. I mean, the flip-flopping on fracking and her issue on the border and drugs and crime, and there was no pushback whatsoever, so I'm not surprised that there wasn't with this. But anyway, what's your take on the vice president's remarks?
Hey, Julie. Yeah, the pushback was the pushback you would get if you're using a feather to do the pushbacking. And if we were to grade this interview by Dana Bash generously, it's a D-. I mean, we had a handful of decent questions, but then no follow-ups. And then even in those questions, she provided, Dana Bash did, multiple choice answers that allowed for an easy off-ramp for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And then when the vice president continues to insist that in private, actually, Joe Biden is a modern-day Orson Welles, right? He's solving quadratic equations. He's explaining how the flux capacitor works. I mean, this guy actually is a genius behind closed doors. So if that's the case, then why isn't he running again for another 4 years? And instead now, what we're seeing out of this White House and out of this president for the last 14 days are basically proof-of-life photos of Joe Biden on a beach in Delaware while Americans are being executed overseas. So again, Dana Bash absolutely should have pushed back on that, because clearly that's why Joe Biden dropped out, was pressured to, by the way, by the Obamas, by Nancy Pelosi, by Hakeem Jeffries, by Kamala Harris, because they knew he couldn't win because he does not have the mental capacity for the job right now and shouldn't be president in the hall. He should step down. Instead, she let her get away with that ridiculous answer.
She absolutely did. And the follow-up question should have been, well, then why did one of Biden's former closest aides last year in 2023, in fact, talk about the significant cognitive decline that they had witnessed in person on numerous occasions? The vice president obviously is in the Situation Room with the president. She just talked about it, so she saw it herself, and she's covering up. It's part of the whole cover-up, and that is what everybody's been doing, is sort of bubble wrapping the president until he finally came out and exposed himself, and then now they all look like liars. I want to go on to George Clooney. Championing Joe Biden, saying that he did the most selfless act since George Washington. Let's play this sound, and then I'll have you react.
The person who should be applauded is the president who did the most selfless thing that anybody's done since George Washington, and that's true. And so all the machinations that got us there, that's all, none of that's going to be remembered. And it shouldn't be. What should be remembered is the selfless act of someone who, it's very hard to let go of power.
A selfless act. How do you think the president will be remembered? Not as George Washington. I think we can be clear there.
Well, Nancy Pelosi said that he should be on Mount Rushmore, right? You have Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, Roosevelt, Joe Biden. Yeah, that makes total sense. Here, I'll just go by the numbers, Julie, quite frankly. Joe Biden, before he resigned, or at least said he wasn't running for another 4 years, was polling lower than any president at this stage of his first term in polling history. There is a reason for that. Because of inflation, because of crime, because of 12 million plus people coming across the border, including hundreds of terrorists, including a world that seems like it's on fire, especially when you compare it to the Trump years. This is the worst president of our lifetimes based on the polling, and he will be remembered for that and not for a selfless act, because, again, it wasn't a selfless act. It was something that he was pushed out by his own party because they didn't believe he would win, and he eventually gave in because at that point he had no more allies. So no, nothing to do with being selfless. That's certainly for sure.
All right. Joe Concha, always great to see you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.